Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Wildwoods Honey Farms. And today it is November 27th, and it's been a little bit since I've done my live stream. I've been busy, and I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving weekend and Thanksgiving week. Last Thursday, of course, we had a Thanksgiving here, so I wasn't able to really do anything that day, family and stuff. And really during the weekend, I really didn't do any videos. So it's been almost 14 days. I do apologize that I haven't had any videos come out lately. But, I'm going to have more interesting videos coming up soon and start up being more precise on the live streams. Because, I've been here and then, maybe once a month. So we're going to try to get back on that. But I do hope everybody did have a good weekend and hope everybody has a good week. But, of course, now we're getting to the end of November, and, I've been doing some things. Yesterday, it was like a low rain. It was raining just a little bit, but it wasn't raining enough. I was able to get a little bit done out in the bee yard. I was able to run out there and give them a little bit of sugar water because the high today was like 55 degrees. It was actually pretty chilly with a little bit of the wind, but then the wind stopped, and then, without the wind, then it wasn't as cold as it is with the wind, so, it's just something interesting. But, I was able to give him some 1-to-1 sugar water, and the low tonight's like 41, but tomorrow the high is like 50. I think it's about the same as today, but the only difference is the low tomorrow is actually going to be like 28, 27, so it's going to be below freezing. But, I think the bees should do all right. But, I want to make sure that they have enough honey in there to supply themselves so then, they can, do all right. I don't want them to, starve to death. So, stay on top of that, which I'm sure a lot of other people are. And, we're about to get into December, another a month that we need to be looking on to, being, predictable onto that. Got to make sure our bees are well fed, make sure that they have enough food, make sure that but we can keep them going and keep them alive. And, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make sure that the bees are there and that they can, they have enough food. And, really right now, the reason why I'm not really doing many videos is because there's not really anything to do right now. It's kind of boring time, nothing to really talk about. I'll probably upload some, like, little shorts and stuff of, like, past live streams. Just, kind of what Bruce does, just to kind of keep something going, and probably do more live streams. I'll try to get more guests on here soon, so y'all stay looking forward tonight and future for that. I don't know how long this live stream will be. Just depends on if we have any good topics. If you guys do have any topics or questions to keep this live stream, entertaining, feel free to do that. Which I'm sure a lot of people are going into a time where it's kind of hard. It's nothing really much. It's kind of boring. It's kind of nothing really to do. I really like spring more than I do than this time, but we have to get through this time of the year, which is getting into winter, to get to spring. Spring's just one of the best times of the year for honeybees and for the beekeeper, so they can do things, they can have fun at doing it, especially for hobbyist beekeepers, sideliners, and commercials, they do a lot of work, but for, I'm a hobbyist, so especially in spring is the funnest part of, the beekeeping. Then you got summer, which is kind of hard in August. Then you get into the fall, like I would say September, October, and then after that, it's probably about it. And then, then you have November, which is some cold weather, and then warm, random warm days. That's what we're having. A lot of warm days throughout November. That's what our November was, really. It was just there was a couple of days where we had like kind of very cold nights. There was one time where it got below freezing, like it is going to tomorrow night. That's right, tomorrow night. That's the temperature, and we're gonna have to look forward to that, and be proactive on our bees. Proactive. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. I've talked about proactive, and that's probably one of our biggest topics tonight, to stay ahead of ourselves, to make sure that we know what we're going into, make sure that our bees are prepared, make sure we're being proactive at what we're doing, especially at honeybees, and that's important. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well, getting to the live stream, because right now it is one of the most important time to do that. I think it'll be good for everybody in here to share your opinion on what you guys are doing, because I'm down here in South Alabama. So it's probably different in northern locations. I would say, like in Canada, other countries, they have different temperatures. It'll be interesting to hear from most people, see what's going on in their region. I know up there north in Canada, I'm sure there's probably pretty cold right now. Down here, like I said, high was 55. It really nothing big today. I didn't get into the bees because it was 55 degrees. So I mean, you really want to go, if you ever want to inspect a hive, it's probably going to be around 65 degrees. So it was 55 degrees. I wasn't going to go out there anyway and inspect them or anything. So, really today was really not a bee day. Yesterday really wasn't either. I was able to go out there. If you guys didn't hear me at the first start, I was able to go out to the bee yard Sunday. It was kind of slow raining. I really don't like those days at all, but we had one of those where it was just slow raining, like very light. It wasn't much at all. But then I was able to get out there yesterday, which was Sunday, and put some sugar water on the bees. So 1-to-1, probably a little bit heavier than that, to get them stored up for winter. So we're gonna see how that goes. And a lot of you guys are probably wondering how all the other stuff is going, like the queens. And I had a video on that. I'm not gonna really get too much into that conversation because I've already talked about that before, and I don't want to bore you guys because I've talked about it before. But just give you guys a quick oversight on what I was doing, I re-queened some hives with new queens from Barnyard Bees, and then able to introduce them successfully. You guys are gonna have to go check out the video to know exactly how I did it and what I did it and all the info on that, because I'm not gonna go over it all, because I've already a lot of you guys already listened to that video. It's a good video. You guys should definitely check out the first video and the second video, the follow-up video, and they're doing good brood pattern. They're in there laying, and trying to keep on top of that hive as well. I put a frame of honey in the hive about 3 weeks ago, just to make sure they have enough honey on board to go into winter. And I'm looking at the temperature real quick for you guys down here in South Alabama. It may be different in other locations. And also want to talk about roller coaster winter, and that's what we're looking for. I'm thinking that that's the kind of year we're going to have again. That's really what we have down here. And so today was 55. Let's see. I think 47 is actually the low. I thought it was like 41, but it's actually 47. Tomorrow, which is Tuesday, it's going to be 59. The high. Low is going to be 28. That's going to be kind of chilly. I think our bees should do all right. I am just kind of making sure, staying on top of that, being proactive. If you're not being proactive, then you probably get into a situation that you can't fix because you weren't, being proactive at it. But, sometimes that happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of other people. But just make sure you're staying on top of your bees. Make sure you know what's going on inside the hive. Make sure the queen's good. Make sure you have enough food. Make sure you have all the things that you need to go into winter to be successful. Wednesday, the 29th, is going to be 59 again, low 31. It's going to be right there under 32 degrees, which is below freezing, I think. Thursday, we're going to be back up in 60s, 60 degrees, low 47. Then right back on Friday, we go 12 degrees up, 72 degrees. Throughout the weekend, we are going to be all in the 70s, 73, 70, low 58, and the low 63. So, and that's in December, early December. So I don't know if we're going to see a consistent basis of cold weather yet, but once we get more into winter, we will see that more. But if I keep on seeing this right here, don't know if you guys can see that. It's really hard to see. If I keep on seeing these temperatures, and that's telling me it's going to be really up and down situation this year, like it has been throughout, past years down here in Alabama. Now, it may be different in your location. It just really depends on where you are located and what your temperatures are, what climate you're in, and your elevation is a big difference. Like if you're on a mountain, higher you are up, the colder it usually will be, especially like in Tennessee. If you're on like Smoky Mountains or something, last year, when we went to the Hive Life conference in Sevierville, I think, and it was a good time. Cayman was there, and everybody else, a lot of our beekeepers. Anyway, we were up in the mountains, and it was a little bit colder. So you can definitely see kind of climate, especially of elevation. Just depends on what elevation you're at and what the temperature range is and where you're located. Cyber Monday, 205 frames and foundation. I'm sure that's probably a pretty good deal on Premiere. I'm gonna have to check that out and see that. But right now, of course, right now it's probably a good day for shopping, especially for bees. You have Black Friday and Cyber Monday stuff going on, so get good discounts on that kind of stuff and get your bee stuff. Get it cheaper. A lot of companies are doing that, so that's never a good thing in the bee world. And like I said, it's really nothing exciting really going on in the bee world. Right now I'm looking at videos and stuff, and not really many people are uploading videos because right now it's November. I'm sorry about that. And it's just not a time where you can really do anything with your bees, especially in a lot of locations. But 20% off frames, 25% off foundations. That's a pretty good deal. I see we have some good amount of people in here. We have Tim and Hannah, Gunline Bees, JW Urin, good to see you. Larry, Philip, James. Who else do we have in here? Darren was in here. Steve was in here as well. Beginning of the live chat before before I started this thing. And I appreciate everybody checking in for a little bit. And if you do have any questions or anything that you'd like to ask or any topics to bring up, please do bring them up. I was kind of noting on being proactive, so I'll talk a little bit about that and get into some other conversations. And some things that I've talked about before, we'll probably get into them again. And talk about some other things. I got a couple things that I'll talk about. Now, of course, right now, like I said, we're in the time where we're getting into December. And right now, I'm still doing things. As I said before, I'm trying to make sure our bees, are well fed, make sure they have pollen, make sure they have a good queen, being proactive at that. So being proactive is, make sure that you can make sure you prevent a situation in the first place. So, we all make mistakes, it happens all the time. I've talked about it before, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well, since we're hitting on this as well. And, let's say, we're in that situation where going into winter, we didn't feed them. We didn't feed them enough. They didn't have enough food going into winter. So, that's really being proactive, making sure they have everything that they need beforehand. Before you think that, okay, that beforehand, before winter comes, you got to put this in your mindset. This is a good mindset to have, just to think about it. That, okay, we have to check your hive, make sure they have a good queen. How old's the queen? Make sure she's still laying good. Make sure that you have pollen. Make sure you have nectar coming in. If you don't have nectar coming in, go on and start feeding. And I think that's important. And, make sure you're proactive at it. And, I've heard that term proactive a lot. And it is important to think about it to prevent a bad situation, that is. And, and to be successful as well. If you want to be successful going into winter, you got to be proactive. Proactive management, beekeeping management, and being proactive at the management. So it's basically pretty simple, just trying to make sure that your bees are well set to, go into winter. Like, you can prepare your bees to a high standard or a low standard. It doesn't really matter what standard you're at. And, whatever, location you're at, of course, it can be different. But for me, I like to make sure that they're over prepared It's not a bad thing to get them over prepared. You know, you don't want to have them, too much honey in there that the queen can't lay a little bit, especially down here in Alabama. I like to have a little brood going into winter. It's good situation a little bit. But up north, go on and give them a lot of honey. They can go on and fill it up, because up north you're gonna have those colder temperatures that the bees are going to be eating a little bit more. And it might help them out a little bit more, especially those northern climates. We're talking about mistakes and stuff. Sometimes, there's mistakes happen. You can't do nothing about it. There is one thing you could have done was, before that mistake happened, go for your notes and stuff and make sure that that mistake won't happen. But the thing is about that, and there's a whole bunch of different scenarios. It's kind of controversial, but anyway, when you make a mistake, that also helps the beekeeper know that, okay, that didn't work for me. Whatever I did wrong, I did that wrong. So now I should do something different, because that didn't work for me. That didn't work for what I need to do. Then you can tell yourself, all right, the next time you see that scenario, maybe you didn't overwinter your colony good. They came out poorly and they died. And then you bought some new hives during spring. You're back into that scenario again, where you're going into winter. Then you can go back. It's also good to keep notes. What did you do to get those bees for winter? Did you feed them? Did you make sure they have a new queen? Did you inspect them good enough to know that their queen is all right? And overall management. And bees, if you want to be successful, you have to, manage them. And that's what a lot of people talk about here. And that's one thing I want to kind of touch on is beekeeping management. And right now we can't really manage them as good as we could in spring. And I understand that. And, right now I'm not going to go into hives right now today, earlier or tomorrow, because it's going to be colder. But what I mean is, it's not just that. It's also make sure that they have enough food beforehand. So, get into a time, like I said earlier, we're going to be back into the 70s this weekend. So if you're in that scenario down south, then go on and make sure that your bees have enough food on that time. When you have the time to go out there and go on and get that stuff knocked out. Sometimes you may be busy. Sometimes you don't want to do it. But then sometimes you might just want to go out there and get it knocked out. That's the way I am. Sometimes I'll think, do I really want to go out to BR today? A lot of people think the same thing. Maybe it's a gloomy day. Maybe it's cloudy and stuff, and you just want don't really want to do that. But then you have to do it, and that's what I do the same thing, and a lot of other people do it. And you just got to make sure that you're being proactive at it. And I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit in tonight's live stream, because it is important. It is something to think about. It's something for us beekeepers to take in what we do wrong, what we, I guess, should have done, correctly. If you're a new beekeeper, you're a new beekeeper. It's just really, if you're a beginner beekeeper, you probably couldn't really do anything about it because you're newer at it. And it isn't anything bad. It isn't anything to go towards you and bite you in the foot, but it is something that you can think about. And that goes back to making sure you know what you're doing. And, really a lot of the things that we talk about, a lot of things that I know, not all of it comes from books. Not all of it comes from science. A lot of it does. Honestly, a lot of it does. But a lot of information, things that work down here, really go toward how much hands-on experience you have. I've talked about that before. A lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. But to have hands-on experience is just some of the best. Hands-on experience. I've had about 7, 8 hands-on experience, and I can remember some of the things I've done wrong. And there's a lot of things I wish I had done differently. And you can't keep that in your head all the time, because the things in the past, they happen. There's nothing you can do about it. If you could do something about it, I guess it'd be good, but whatever. But you just have to another good thing also I do want to touch on is to keep notes. So if maybe something happened wrong that you didn't like, or something your hive died during winter, you keep a note at what you did all year. Of course, I don't keep notes all the time, but I do remember what I do during winter, and what I do beforehand, like being proactive at it. And keep a note. You can keep a note like on this right here or whatever. I have actually a little book back there. I'm not going to get it right now. Just write in here what you did. I checked for eggs. I checked for a good queen. I evaluated the queen. Queen pattern looks good. You checked for pollen. They have pollen. You fed. You treated mites. I forgot to mention that earlier. You treated for mites. You tested for mites. No more mites in your hive. What do you test with? You test with Apivar. Do you test with Apigard? Or I mean, what did you treat with? Did you treat with Apigard, Apivar? Were the temperatures right for that treatment? Did you use Formic Pro? Maybe did that kill your queen beforehand? A lot of things that you can keep notes on. Maybe sometimes, when I'm talking about with Formic Pro, I've heard a lot of times that Formic Pro will kill your queens and other things, and that maybe your queen dies before winter, and you're using Formic Pro, and then you're wondering, why did my queen die? Why did my queen die? So then you can have notes beforehand what you treated with. You want to go back to everything that you evaluated her, that she was a good queen, that how old was the queen, that you knew that maybe they superseded her, which of course right now they ain't going to go far with that, but it's good to know anyway. Then you can flip your pages and you'll see that I treated with Formic Pro. Did that have any effects on my queen? Then you got maybe a clue of maybe what happened. Then what you can do is you can go through all your notes beforehand of what happened, and you can dial down to what happened, and then you can say, all right, this is what happened, which of course you never know because you don't always know, but that's just something to keep hand of. Keep hand of a field book that you can write in of what you're doing and what you're trying to do, and if it worked or not. Let's say you're trying to requeen your house, you can write down, well, I requeened on this day. It was a virgin or it was mated. I should go back and check to see if she was released in about 4 days, 3 days, and then so on. All the things that you need to do. Hey, DC, good to see you in here. Hey, Michael, Spirit of Toad. Hey, good to see everybody in here. Russell, I'll see you up there. Good to see you. Very Southwest Georgia. Cold snap coming. Feeders, jars, and interest reducers on. Gonna be below 30 Wednesday morning. I kind of figured that you guys would be doing a lot of other things would happen there, so that's something else. Gunline bees. Gunline, Tim, you're actually reading my mind because I was talking a little bit about that, about trying to build some boxes during the off time, because during the season of winter there ain't really nothing I can do. I can feed them, and what else can I do? I can't inspect them or anything. So I was thinking I would probably build some boxes probably here soon, during December, January, and February is what I'm thinking for my operation, and maybe to sell some if I can ever get around to it. I said I was going to sell some, but I've just been busy. I haven't got around to it, and trying to figure out prices and whatever. At first start, whenever I was going to try to sell them, it was just way too overhand priced and stuff. So I'm still trying to figure some of that stuff out. Sell a little bit, and really selling boxes. It may make you a little bit of money, but I don't really know. Really, to go into a business, I really think the best way is to sell things. Is probably sell honeybee nukes. That's the best way. Sell queens. You know what? I want to sell queens really badly. You know why? And I've talked about this before, and I guess we'll get down onto profiting stuff. But we'll talk about that for a second. I really queen rearing and stuff is really, it looks cool, and I've done it before. I've had a little bit of success, but I'd say really not big success. It could have had success, but I was new at it. But I did all right for the first start. I had some good things go on. the bees drew out the cells. All right, so good there. Grafting, that was fine. And that reminds me, I got to get all my grafting stuff all together and all my things, clean up the bee art and stuff. It kind of get that kind of thing. You gotta get things situated for next year, and that's another thing I'm gonna be doing is getting things situated. But you can think about it for a mated queen, even a virgin. I don't really know what the virgins go for. So if anybody on the chat want to quickly pull up their phone and tell me what virgins go for nowadays, about because I can't really do it with all the stuff set up right here. But anyway, I think they're around like 20 for a virgin. VSH queen actually is like 25. So I'm gonna say a virgin queen would be about $20 to $15, just depending on it. But then you got your mated queens. It does take a little bit to get a good mated queen in, but you do make a good profit on that. Just depending on what you use, you do have to have a lot of, let's say, mating nukes. So you just have to kind of go into the whole business kind of thing. If you're really focusing on doing that, you need to have a lot of bees. You need to have a lot of beehives, and then you have to start figuring out investments and stuff. See if make a big investment, if that will pay off here soon or whatever. But you just gotta kind of figure out some of those things before you get into that kind of business aspect. I was thinking I'd probably sell virgin queens. That'd be kind of more simple for me, at least. I may sell a couple mated queens here, there, but but I'll probably get more on the virgin kind of thing. And you know what? I may get a couple of VSH queens and try them out and try to sell those, because VSH queens, they sell a little bit more than regular Italian and whatever. So yeah, that's another thing we're going to look into. But overall, we are going to try to build some boxes on the off season. I think that'll be kind of good to get started on. And we don't have anything going on with bees, so we'll have more time to do it. 21 Fahrenheit, now going to 19 Fahrenheit. Really feel 12. Well, James, that's probably pretty cold. And up north it is a little bit colder. I don't know exactly where you are, James, because I can't remember where everybody's from. But whenever we had that cold snap, it was like low was like 17 or maybe 16, 15 maybe. And then the high was like maybe 49 or 45 or something. I can't remember. It was freezing. It was cold. And that day, I can remember, I was actually building boxes. We were outside building boxes, and the north was facing this way directly to us, actually. And the wind was blowing. It was probably below 40 or maybe low 40s. And it was not fun at all. We had to take breaks, go back inside, come back outside because our hands were about to be frozen because of how cold it was. It wasn't a fun experience to build boxes outside like that. But it's just something I can talk about for a second. But, sometimes, a lot of times with those temperatures, like I said, it's the wind chill. You got to incorporate the wind chill and, the location where you're at. Hey, Joseph, Joey, good to see you in here. It's good to see you. That's right. Cold is no fun to work in. I can 100% guarantee that I can tell everybody that you don't want to have that experience. It's not really fun. It's not really anything that you should get hyped up about, because it just ain't really that fun. And so sometimes you get put in those scenarios and you have to do it. But we were able to get some boxes done that day. If you guys remember, I put a community post last year, actually. It was about almost like 10, 11 months ago about that. And we were doing that. And we were able to build the boxes. And some of those boxes were built in that cold weather. So, we have also a short of us making them. So it was fun to build those nuke boxes. We did the nuke boxes similar to how Bob Binney builds them. And actually, the way we built them was we looked up Bob Binney's way of building them. He had like a little tutorial on how to do it, and we kind of followed it. And, it's just really cool to listen to Bob talk about those things. I followed Bob Binney on this live stream before, and it's fun to chat with them. I actually had them on two times, to come on and chat. And I remember last time it was just packed full. People were on here. I think we got up to like 65 people on the live stream. I was kind of, it was very fun. A lot of questions, about an hour full of a live stream, and it was very very fun thing to do. And if you haven't checked it out, then you probably should go check it out. And it was very fun. I have a bunch of cruddy wax I need to scrape and melt down. Yeah, you probably can do that. It'll probably get you some good, probably build candles or other things. Another thing you can do with wax is you can also, if you get wax, let's say build up wax. If you say you scrape wax off the top of frame or on the side of frame, sometimes on top of frame they'll put wax on there and stuff. And I've heard about this before, and it's something that you probably can do to any about there with wax. And you can melt it down, and you probably put it, and also you can probably, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but anyway, you can make like a kind of sort of crayon with it. It looks like a candle, but it's actually like a crayon kind of thing. It's kind of about that big. And then you can make it kind of, let it sit, then it's done. Then whenever you need to re-wax frames, you can take that crayon sort of thing and wax, and you can scrape it on the foundation, maybe heat up the bottom of the balm. I'll call it a balm, a wax balm. I'll just call it like that for the time being, crayon kind of thing. And then you can just kind of do that, and probably be good to re-wax frames. I've heard about that. I've wanted to do that, but I haven't got around to do that. So one day I'll probably try to do that, and I'll do a video about it. I think that'd be another really good video to do. I was gonna do a video. I mentioned it, but I wasn't able to get around to it, about taking the Abavar strips out. I already took the Abavar strips out, if you guys are wondering. Just, long enough in there. I took them out probably about a week ago, or actually 2 weeks ago, and took them out. And now, they're out of the house. I wasn't able to do a video about it. The day I took them out, it was just kind of, I really didn't want to do a video about it, and ain't really nothing to do a video about. And it's kind of boring. There's nothing really going around here. I said that earlier for anybody wanting to know. It's nothing going around here, and I'm sure a lot of people can say the same. But we will have some other things pop up here and there during winter. But other than that, on the YouTube channel, you'll probably just see me go live every Monday night. I'm getting some more guests on. Some good guests on. Some of the guests that I've had on before. Maybe I'll get Ian Stepler back on one day for another live trap, and a lot of other things. So we'll see how all that plays out. Do some more videos. I'll try to get more of those videos out there, and it'll probably be a good time to do that. And get ready for the cold weather winter that we're probably going to have. I don't know if it's going to be a full-on cold winter, or if it's going to be a roller coaster winter. And I thought I'd talk about this before. I said I would talk about it. And a lot of people know what a roller coaster winter means. And I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I had a video that I was talking about it. I'll probably try to do another video specifically on it. And overall, throughout winter, I'll also, before I talk about the roller coaster winter, I'll probably put out some nuggets and stuff like Bruce does. I really like those ideas. And I have some live streams that I have some good information on. I think that'd be good to put it out there and let people look at it and get some good information of it, probably on the Bob Benny chat or Corey Stevens about VSH or whatever. But anyway, I want to talk about the roller coaster winter. And, I basically really what it is that you have up and down temperatures. And last year we had the same thing. Some days you have very, very, very cold days. And the next day you have maybe 65 degree days. Sunny, no clouds in the sky, beautiful day, and you think you're in this wonderful springtime. And then all of a sudden, then winter comes back at you, and then you have a day which is like 55 degrees, wind blowing. It is very cloudy in the sky, and then you get that feeling that, oh, we're back in winter. Then you have the same thing go again couple of days or maybe a week later, then you have this couple of days of warm weather, 65, 60-degree days, sunshine, no rain, nothing, you know. And then that's just really what a roller coaster winter is. It's just these up and down temperatures. It can't decide if it wants to be winter or if it wants to be early spring. But I'm not saying it's gonna be that we don't have. It's not gonna be like warm weather, like 72 degrees. It's just really more like 60 degrees or maybe 59 degrees. And 59 degrees, some people may think that that's really cold. It's actually not really that cold. If you don't have any wind, it feels nice to me, honestly. So, it's just kind of up and down over stuff, and sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the winter that you want will happen, and sometimes the winter that you don't want happens. And, it just really depends on, like I said, climate. If you guys have any other questions, please do put them in there. Yeah. For Thanksgiving, I see we have a little turkey going on there. We had some turkey, and I can't mention everything. We had a lot of stuff for Thanksgiving. So I'll try to go down the line real quick. It was a good Thanksgiving. I do hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Good food, family, and friends and everything. We had turkey, ham, potato casserole, hash brown casserole. What else did we have? I can't remember everything, so I can't say everything. We had green beans. I think we also had that. Also, we had deviled eggs and some other stuff. I think we also had salad. Now I can't remember. But anyway, and then we also had desserts. We had pecan pie, buttermilk pie. I think so. Also, we had cake. A lot of things on Thanksgiving, and it was a good time. I had a good time with friends. Had 2 turkeys, and we still have leftovers from that. We don't have leftovers of potato or sweet potato casserole or any of that stuff, but we do have some turkey, so that'll probably be good for that. So yeah, I do see the little turkey conversation. Turkey's good. I like turkey and ham and other stuff that you have on Thanksgiving. And one of my favorite dishes, and even though we're on Monday, we're still after Thanksgiving, it's all still food. We still have food, and it's so good. One of my favorite dishes, and then I mentioned it. I don't think I've mentioned it before. It's actually sweet potato casserole. A lot of people will agree, but some people won't agree. But for me, it's sweet potato casserole. It's just so good. I really like it with pecans on it or whatever you like to put on sweet potato casserole. But that's just good to me. And then turkey. I really like deviled eggs. If you're a chicken breeder, you can have homemade. You have homemade eggs that your chickens lay. We have chickens, and they lay some eggs, and our chickens are getting old, and so that's something else. I'm not gonna really go too far on it, farming and stuff. But the thing about it is, honeybees, we're farming bees, and we can talk a little bit about that as well. And south of the farm of honeybee farm, we also have chickens. We had about, I forgot, like 12. And this is something that you have to think about. And this is something interesting. So the second year we had bees, it's about 6 years ago, we got chickens. And a lot of our chickens are still alive after 6 to 7 years. And I think I'm sure you guys probably know about 6 years old, chickens. But that just tells me that we have some good chickens that stay alive. Of course, a couple of those chickens have passed away. I've been having a little bit more, those chickens that have passed away. Unfortunately, that's another thing. Maybe later on we'll raise a couple more chickens to have for eggs and stuff. I thought I mentioned that when I was talking about eggs. I get sidetracked a lot of times on these live streams, so please do forgive me on that. I do get sidetracked on other things other than bees, but hey, what's wrong to have just a little friendly conversation about anything? This is what I like, community, talk about anything. And during the weekend, I didn't do any videos. I really wanted to do some videos yesterday, which was Sunday, because sometimes I like to do videos on Sundays, but last Sunday I wasn't able to, and yesterday I wasn't. And I didn't do that just because it was raining. Like I said yesterday, Saturday it was a nice day. I didn't want to do Saturday either. I just didn't really want to do Saturday because that's when football stuff goes on, and I don't really want to do that. But I didn't really want to do any videos on Saturday. Did really pretty much on the whole weekend. But good night, Larry. Good to see you in here for sure. Here soon, I'll probably end us off. Maybe go for about maybe 10 more minutes. If you guys have any more final questions, please do put them in so we can keep it on for maybe 10 more minutes, and I'll go on and shut her down and let everybody get back to what they're need to do for the rest of the evening, and carry on tomorrow and ever live streams and ever whatnot that goes on throughout the week, within the beekeeping era. And for me, throughout this week, I don't know if there's really going to be anything to do, unless if we have maybe Friday, maybe maybe Thursday or Wednesday, Thursday. It probably can be out. Tomorrow we have plans. Friday probably won't be that either. Saturday and Sunday, so it may be even next week till I can get anything uploaded. But I may be able to get out some of those things that I can be able to upload, like nuggets and whatever. So yeah. Hey Mark, good seeing here. My wife's pet turkey passed away day after Thanksgiving. Turkey mama was 9 years old. Now you're on here right after I was talking about our chickens are like 6, 7 years old. I can't believe they lived that long, but those chickens are some good chickens. I can say that. But yeah, turkey, yeah, 9 years old. Yeah, that's something to think about. But good seeing you here. I'm glad you're checking in, and I see we have 21 people on here, and I would appreciate if you guys would click the thumbs up button, and I'd appreciate it. It would help us out a lot if you guys would click the thumbs up button and maybe subscribe if you're new. But yeah, I found one queenless yesterday. I'll try to stack a queen right nuke on top. Yeah, I get you. We talked, I guess, like a nuke battery and stuff like that. A lot of people ask me, are you going to keep nukes every winter? And I have plenty of nukes. That's really much all I'm going to be overwintering this year, honestly. And I'm going to get to Philip's question here in a second. And people ask me, are you going to have nuke batteries, or you can have a queen right nuke in store, just in case if one of your regular hives go queenless during winter. And that's all I have really is nukes. They're really smaller hives. I would rather have bigger 10-frame boxes, but for time being, I really only have 5-frame nukes. I think they'll do fine. Only difference this year from last year is last year, all the hives that I had probably would have went into a nuke anyway. I probably could have put them right in a nuke, and they do the same as they did last year. Just last year, I just had them all in boxes, but this year I have them in nuke boxes, and next year they'll probably be ready to be put into 10-frame boxes, nice and strong, so that'll be good too. This year we had a lot of problems with hive beetles, and next year that's something I want to fix, because this year we had such a good year starting off, so many good queens coming in mated, such a good year, but everything just went down the road so quickly because of beetles and other things. They absconded and they got weak, and now we got back to the point. Now we're back at where we started, basically 6 hives, and we're back to where we started. And I can't say anything else, but but that's all I do have one 10-frame box, and that's probably about it. Oh, thanks, Steve. Good to see you in here. I really do appreciate the $5 super sticker. Thank you. I really do appreciate the people who donate, like you, Steve. It helps me out a lot. It goes toward, bee things, and a lot of the money that has been donated probably go towards also, bee box equipment. Like I said earlier, off season, I probably put some of the stuff that everybody has donated to this channel towards some of the bee stuff that I need and some of the things that I can use to build bee boxes. So I really do appreciate it. It really does help me out a lot. no matter if you donate or if you don't donate, it helps the channel out for everybody who's being here. We're at 1,300 subscribers. We hit 300 recently, and 1,300 recently, and I really appreciate it. And we're going to be getting up to, what is it, the end of the year, maybe my next year, or maybe longer. Maybe we'll get to 1,500. I think that'd be interesting. Maybe that'll be a next goal. But anyway, I got sidetracked. I forgot about Philip's question. Grayson, I was distracted by Dimmer, but have you talked about your goals for next season? And I have talked about it a little bit, but not really too much. I'm really what my goal is to get my beehives through winter nice and strong this year. Next year, I want to maybe raise some queens if I have the chance to. Overall, next year, I can envision it in my head. What I want is some nice, strong halves. I don't want one half that is bigger than the other, one that's smaller than the other. I want some nice, equalized halves. And I just really want to have equalized halves. I want maybe to raise some queens, maybe sell some nuke boxes if I ever get around to that as well. Maybe have some honey and extract. This year was a complete blowout. I wasn't able to get any honey. Really early in the year, it just didn't go well with everything that was going on. And also we had that early cold snap that shut everything down. Fall, I really wanted to get something in for fall as well. I really wanted to. But I looked at everything, at my resources that I had available to me. Not my what I could feed, but the honey supply, natural honey that the bees collect, not sugar water, just the honey. And I didn't have all what I really wanted. I just wanted to keep them in their, So yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Grayson, are you going to go back to work on the cutout anytime soon? And yes, that's been on my mind. That's one of the biggest things that has been on my mind. Of course, like I said, Thanksgiving and stuff, I wasn't able to get around to it. And me and my granddad has been talking about that because before that, we went up to a camper and it had a full-out beehive there. Middle of summer, went up there, couldn't get them out because I couldn't find the queen. Of course, you have to have a queen, and it was just too hot. And I don't know really, I don't have any update if they're still there or maybe if they, for some reason, absconded. And, but I am going to get back onto that cutout here soon. I'm going to try to get into into there and get the time to do it. And I'm going to try to get that cutout removed. On the other hand, another goal for next year will also be to try to get some cutouts next year, some swarms, and remove some cutouts, and do a little bit of that as well. Get a couple freebies. Probably good to charge money if you're gonna get bees. In my case, this one I try to remove, and I'm going to remove in the future. I'm not gonna charge anything because it's local bees, but maybe one day in the future I may have some little business of doing some cutouts and stuff and removing bees and whatnot and all that other stuff. And yeah, that's right. You just have to be tenacious. Let's see. Michael, good seeing here. Mark Miller, JWRN, and Utah is known as the Beehive State. That's a good fact, Vincent. I've heard about that as well. A lot of other cool little things and whatnot and stuff. Also been on them. Right now, we also got done with mite treatments. If you guys didn't hear with me earlier, got done with mite treatments. I took them off. Not really worried about anything else now that we're done with treatments or any diseases. It's good to stay on top of diseases as well. Of course, for me, I'm probably not going to see any diseases this year. Maybe I may see nosema, but I'm going to say this: nosema happens up more like around colder climates, like up there in, like probably in Ian Stepler's up around his area. It's probably where it's really going to be, and all in terms of nosema. That's where I really see him having it more than really me, because it happens more in colder times where bees are having to stay in the hive and have a little stomach problem. I would say it like that. A little problem in their stomach and digestion and stuff like that, from what I've learned, everything else. And also keep look on like foul brood and American foul brood and AFB and EFB, European foul brood. I'm not really worried about I'm not really I am I wouldn't say not all the way worried, but for me, I have low expectations that I'm gonna have any AFB, because AFB is a lot of times very rare, honestly, and it really happens more on a commercial beekeeper. But you never know. I don't want to say that and then come up with AFB. AFB, I hear, is terrible. I don't want to have it. I don't want any else to experience. I've never experienced it, and I hope it stays like that. But if you ever do think that you have AFB, you just do the toothpick method. Just poke the brown pupil mass. Pull the toothpick out with the cell slowly. A positive test will result when the brown mass rips out of the cell. 1 inch or more. A negative test will result when the pupil mass releases from the toothpick. So yeah. And then you got, sac brood, shock brood, and nosema. You know what? Maybe we'll talk about other diseases and whatnot in the future. Maybe that'll be a good informative video. But right now, I just kind of want to swing through that. I am making sure that we don't have that. It's important too, no matter what kind of beekeeper you are. But I have low expectations it's going to happen. But, you never know. You never know what the future holds in with your bees and whatever. But I hope I never experienced American foul brood, and I hope it stays like that. How many hives was the most you have ever had at once? Well, if you really want to say like the hives that, I would say about maybe 13. I, at one point, had about 17 without queens. 17, like maybe 10 with queens and 7 without queens. I remember that. If you guys remember those 2-frame nukes I did, it was a complete failure. It didn't work out as I really wanted it to. I should have bought queens. If I bought queens from a local supplier, probably would have worked out perfect. I would have had those queens. But it didn't work out. But hey, things happen. I'll know not to do that again. And I can admit that I made those mistakes. I mentioned it before. And a lot of times people don't want to mention their mistakes. They don't want to admit their mistakes. And I can understand if you don't want to admit it. But it's fine to admit your mistakes, because you make mistakes. It will happen. We're not perfect in this world. No human being is. But you just got to look forward to the next thing that you need to do. Sometimes, if you focus on that failure or that mistake that you made and you keep on thinking about that, and then that may impact the next thing you do, because you're all focused on this one mistake that you mess up something different and it doesn't go the other way that time. So whenever you have a mistake, just write down, all right, this was wrong. It was a mistake I did, but I can learn from it. What happened to it, and just kind of keep good faith in yourself. Make sure that you do be proactive. It's important. I think it's important. Don't overlook that. But if you do make a mistake, if it somehow occurs to you, then just focus on the next thing, and also keep in mind that you always can learn from your mistakes, no matter how little or how big they are. I don't know. I can't really answer that by 2026. I'm focusing on 1 year at a time. I'm not really focusing on 2026. That's kind of, what's the word? Getting ahead of ourselves. And that's something else, a good thing to also think about. Good question, though. Maybe let's see here. Maybe we'll have about, I can't answer that. It's really hard to look into the future. I'm going to look onto 2024, I think it's important for beekeepers to not be focused, oh, I'm going to get to 100 by 2026 or, whatever. I think I just want to focus on one thing at a time. So we'll focus on 2024. After 2024, we'll focus on 2025. Then after 2025, we'll focus on 2026, but just not yet. But just from my standpoint, by next year, I'm going to say, what am I, 6? I'm going to hope to get 12, maybe 15. After that, maybe if I can even get realistic, 10 hives. And next year, maybe I can double that to 20. Maybe I can do a 40, just whatever. Lower numbers does help you learn. That's another thing. If you're a new beekeeper, don't rush to get all these big amounts of beehives just so then you can say, oh, I have a lot of beehives, I'm a good beekeeper. Not to say, in a bad way or anything, but just stay at a hive number that you like. If you, let's see, Grayson, are your colonies pretty good on winter stores, or was it a bad flow like ours? Now, I will say this, it wasn't a terrible flow up here, Tim. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't the best flow. And it probably wasn't at all a good flow enough to get a fall harvest. It was good enough to get the bees filled up a little bit, good enough to get the queen rolling, good enough to get them a little bit of stores, not good enough for me to harvest any. Right now, some of my hives are low on stores, but right now, like I said earlier in the video, that's why I'm feeding right now. I have some heavy food on them right now. I've been feeding them lately, and I'm getting them nice and packed up and put some, what do you call them, sugar bricks on them, and overwinter them nice and good, and see how that works out. But make sure there are drones walking before you do. If you want to make easy increases, try taking a queen away from a strong colony, and then just make splits using the cells and make resources from other colonies. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. I've heard that method before. I think that'd probably be a good way to do it. To make easy increases, I think that'd probably be a good one. Lower numbers just help you learn. I highly recommend building slowly and be comfortable working what you have, quality over quantity, more from less. And that's exactly what I was mentioning and getting at too, Mark. Just be comfortable. Do something that's comfortable. Don't do something that's going to overwhelm you. Don't do something that doesn't comfort your liking. Don't do something that is over your workforce. Don't do something that you can't manage. And just do something that you can manage. Do something that comforts you. Do something that is comfortable. And do something that you can handle. And I think that's important. Something very important for us to think about as beekeepers. If you're thinking about expanding, don't do it too fast. And just do something for your liking. But I think I'm about to go on and end it off here. And hope you guys do enjoy. And before y'all check out, make sure to sting the like button. That will help me out a lot. And for you guys to like the video, if you haven't already, go on and subscribe. It helps us a lot. And I guess there are some other live streams going on, so you guys can. I'll probably check into some other live streams from other channels later on that are on tonight and tomorrow and throughout the week. I really like to learn from other chats and stuff. Like Tuesday and Wednesday, stream team, and Thursday. I don't know who you have on Thursday. A couple people on Thursday. It's just good to hear from a lot of other beekeepers. But I do appreciate you guys chiming in to listen to me talk, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you guys for checking in. We'll catch you guys on the next beekeeping live stream and video. Thanks everybody. See everybody later.